Hi, it's Norman Koshnek here for Extra Time. I'm at the SCG, the Sydney Cricket Ground, after the day 3 of the third test between India and Australia, the Border Gavaskar Trophy. Now the day, as you can see, was a clear sky day. It was a magnificent day for cricket, and India were in a position of quite strength, a 2 for 96 with the likes of Rahane and Pujara in bat. Unfortunately, they were all out for 244 just on tee, and Australia then were in ascendancy by some 94 runs. In fact, that is an unfortunate situation to be after the start they gave. In fact, I'd argue India squandered the day somewhat at that stage, having had 3 runouts through their innings. Australia went into bat, and then they actually had a couple of stumbles early on. Pukoski was caught for 10 by the replacement wicketkeeper Saha, who was replacing Punt, who was injured, as I said, with the left elbow injury. Bowled Siraj, and that was when that followed with Warner, LBW for what I would call groin before wicket, or LBW before wicket. In fact, it hit his groin area and was given LBW for 13 off Ashwin. So both Siraj and Ashwin took early wickets, and Australia were actually somewhat struggling at 2 for 35. But then came in Labuschagne and Smith, and they collectively, Labuschagne got 47 by the end of the day's play, and Smith 29. That was actually a 68-run partnership, and it basically led to a situation where Australia now lead by 197 runs with 8 wickets in the sheds still to come out after day 3. So a day where it started at 2 for 96, India looked quite strong. Unfortunately, all out for 244, and Australia now have a lead of 197. And again, both Punt with a left elbow and the likes of Jadeja with his bowling thumb both being injured, and they're in for scans. Luckily, Saha can replace Punt, but I don't think anyone can replace Jadeja. In fact, Jadeja took the 4 wickets and a great run out in the first innings, when Australia scored 338. India had everything to play for at the beginning of the day, everything to play for, and it was quite an unfortunate start because really, you've got Pujara and Rahane in bat. Rahane played a very unusual shot of a ball of Cummins, chopped the enemy stumps for 22. They lost him fairly early, and Pujara joined Vihari. Now Vihari was run out off his own shot by a fantastic bit of fielding by Hazlewood. Vihari was out quite comprehensively, run out. Somewhat of a lazy run by Vihari. It's quite disappointing to see him at that point. At lunch they were 4 for 180, with Punt on 29 looking particularly good, and Pujara on 42. That left that session some 2 for 84. So effectively, India did pretty well considering they were in a pretty reasonable position, but it didn't actually go very well in the middle session. Unfortunately, India certainly had opportunities yet again. Punt was hit, as I described before. He was somewhat out of sorts and was then caught by Warner at first slip off Hazlewood. I'd imagine somewhat affected by that injury that he had received. He was looking particularly good. He got out for 36. Pujara, in command as always, was on 50, looking good. Unfortunately, he was caught behind off Cummins. So Cummins and Hazlewood then took wickets, and India was 6 for 195 after some 88.2 overs. Then Ashwin did something very similar to what Vihari did. Ashwin was rather lazy in his run and was actually ran out quite significantly for 10 runs. It was rather disappointing to see that happen, because I don't know where that they got both Vihari's and Ashwin's runouts could both have been avoided. Then Bumrah also was run out as well to finish the innings after saying he was caught by Wade off Stark for 8, and in the case of Bumrah he got a duck. A third run out for the day, he was run out by Labuschagne. That led to India being all out for 244, and they lost 6 for 64 in that middle session, a crucial middle session. And of course, that gave Australia the ascendancy. India still bowled well. I believe India has bowled well throughout the complete series. Siraj looked particularly good. He took the early wicket of Pukoski. Again, the likes of Warner. Ashwin took more of the lead because, of course, Jadeja's absence. Bowled particularly well. Warner tried to hit him out of the ground and got LBW, or as I describe it, groin before wicket, because it hit him in that area. It was a rather disturbing situation there for Australia for a little while, but Labuschagne's been as consistent as anything, having scored 91 in the first innings and following it with a 47 in this particular innings, not out. So the reality is that Australia are really in a good position. They're leading by 197 runs. People are writing India off as well. I'm not completely writing them off. If India can take a few wickets early tomorrow and get the total well below 300, the lead that is, they may have a chance. This is Norman Koshnek here for Extra Time. Looking forward to the 4th day's play here at the SCG. We may even have a 5th day. Again, signing off from Extra Time. Please view, like and share the post, and don't forget to subscribe and actually make comments and pass feedback, and we'll make sure that the posts we do in the future cover what your needs are. This is Norman Kochnik for Extra Time.